congratulations with Home Sweet Home Rebirth.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So it must have been some pressure in making this happen, being based on a live adaptation from a video game.
Yeah, pressure there was. It's a pressure, but also the desire to not disappoint the audience and the fan of the game. Um, we try to stay as true as possible to the game, but also the movie allow you to step out of the world of the game and expand the world to what we did with this. So hopefully we have not disappointed the fans of the game.
You're a producer. What are the struggles that you come across to getting this to put it together?
Well, yeah, I basically get I was approached by the video game company that wanted to use the IP, expand the IP of the game, and basically try to introduce the game to a bigger audience around the world. And so the first thing that come to mind is like, okay, well, how do we tell such a complex story in 2 hours? Because the video game have 7 different versions, and so it's a very complex world with many different characters that you cannot put all of them in one movie. The audience will get confused. So we decided to start telling the story with the initial character, introduce the world with a hope to create a franchise. And in the second and third movie, we'll be able to expand those characters and tell more and more about the movie. Um, so yeah, the challenge was basically finding a way to tell this story in a way that will connect with the audience and not going to confuse them.
I'm one of those people that unfortunately is not a gamer. If I did that, I wouldn't have time for this. I mean, gaming is quite a passion.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have people who play for many hours. I'm not a gamer myself, but before we start shooting the movie, I took all the cast to a cyber cafe and had them all play the video game, together, including me. And that was a terrifying experience because the game is a terrifying game. It's a lot more gory and scary than the movie, but that helped the cast really immerse themselves in the world of what they're about to embark on as actors. And that was a fantastic experience. And it was a good way to get into this thing. But I can tell you that after 10 minutes, I stopped playing because it was too scary.
You mean it was more than monsters biting heads off
Yes.
and ripping them apart?
Yes, yes. I mean, there is a lot of stuff happening in the game. It's very gory. The movie is not as gory as the game for a desire to appeal to a bigger and wide audience. So we basically created a lot more space in the movie, and elaborated the alternative realities that exist in the movie.
So how would you explain to someone that's not a gamer a little backstory to where it picks up for this story, for this film, for Rebirth?
You know what? What's really interesting about this movie is that at the core of it is really it's a story about a family. It's a police officer on vacation traveling to Thailand with his wife and his daughter with the hope of relaxing and rebonding with his wife after working too many hours. And they find themselves in a horrible situation that basically throw their lives into a chaos and really into survivor mode, and what was supposed to be a vacation turned to be a fight for your life kind of thing. Save my family, save my wife, save my daughter, but also the pressure of saving the world. So this is basically the movie at its core, and the journey that Jake has to go through is a terrifying journey, and the ultimate sacrifice as well that has to happen within the movie is something that is sort of terrifying. So I think the movie has something for everybody. The people who likes action, they will find their pleasure there. The horror people will find their these supernatural elements are there as well. And I think that what's good about this movie is that it's not far-fetched from reality, because if you're being in the wrong place in the wrong time, bad things can happen.
Well, I hope if something like that were to happen, I have someone in law enforcement around, because that means it's their instinct to help.
Yeah, that's its instinct, but also it became his responsibility. That, Spider-Man said, high responsibility come at high price. So power come with the strong price. So I think that that's certainly what Jake is experiencing in this movie.
The supernatural part I really liked. That always strikes curiosity and lost souls and going into other bodies. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of kind of truth, maybe, because a lot of times in Latin America, we have this thing about souls, right? Someone passes away and you do all these rituals that we're used to make sure they get to the gates of heaven.
Yeah, that's actually true. But also the movie touch on the idea that we are accountable of what we do in this life, and there are consequences to what you do in this life. And obviously, at least in the movie premise, but I believe in it as well, is that our life doesn't end after we die. There is something else after, and I think that whatever is waiting for you after is strongly based on how you behaved on this earth. And that's precisely the challenge that is presented in the movie. You have to be accountable for your actions.
That is true. I hope, like my mom always said, te portas bien, you behave, those cats and dogs you loved and how they treated, they will help you cross that river.
Yeah. I mean, I believe in it as well.
Well, I'm looking forward to that part. As long as I'm working on my good deeds, and yeah, maybe we'll start thinking about that now.
Yeah, after you see all those monsters, you're like, wait a minute, let me revisit what I'm doing.
Right. Well, thank you so much for your time and congratulations.
A pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.